Okay, I've started recording. Good afternoon, everyone. We will be discussing the remaining part of Calcarea silicata today. Yesterday, we saw the mind section and the theme of Calcarea silicata, how the theme evolves. And today, we will see the physical generals. We will also see a case of Calcarea silicata. I hope yesterday's section was clear to all of you. If you have any doubts, you can ask me now, or you can ask me towards the end of the presentation also. So yesterday's idea was basically to tell you all about how theme evolves in such kind of remedies. So we evolved the theme by taking up characteristics and situation of Calcarea and that of Cilicia. We combined the two. Then we also saw the core or the features of Calcarea silicata as a remedy also. We saw various aspects of mind. We saw the rubrics also. And I will tell you how important it is to inculcate rubrics in your study of materia medica and in the understanding of the remedy. We'll talk about it in the later part. So let us start with the physical generals. But before we start with that, we will quickly revise about the personality of Calcarea silicata, just in short, so that you remember all that we had studied yesterday. Okay, so what we understood from yesterday's presentation was that these personalities, the Calcarea silicata personalities, are very frail. Frail meaning very weak and dull, not only physically, but also mentally. We saw how they're sluggish and dull. They're very timid. They become very yielding. They are cowardly, easily frightened, lack of self-confidence, and irresolute. They cannot take decisions by themselves. There is an anxiety about their health and a fear of incurable disease. We saw yesterday how they develop a fear for heart disease or a fear of cancer or diseases that they feel will not be cured. And then the anxiety about health we saw yesterday, which they use up as an excuse to help them to not achieve the expectations set forth by the family. So they just use it as excuse. So this is basically about the personality. Apart from that, we saw that how they are dependent upon their family, upon the relatives, their boss, or the company in which they are working, or their doctor, how they are dependent financially and emotionally. So dependent and needs support, fears about family matters, and anxiety about financial problems. So this is the main thing that we saw about the Calcarea silicata in terms of the theme, in terms of the emotional and intellectual symptoms and the insecurities. So let us move further and go on towards the physical symptoms. So physical symptoms, basically these individuals are lean, thin, and emaciated. Okay, so when we go further and we see certain aspects of Calcarea silicata child, we will see how it can be used for diseases related to malnourishment. So constitutionally, physical constitution, they are lean, thin, and emaciated. And yesterday we also saw that they are very delicate and refined. This is very, very important, profound weakness. Always remember this for Calcarea silicata. There is a lot of weakness. Yesterday we saw how mentally they are weak, how they become mentally weak. Today we will see how physically they are weak. So extremely weak physically and mentally. There is a deep exhaustion, fatigue, aggravated by exertion. So any kind of exertion will aggravate them, be it physical exertion or be it mental exertion. Okay, so that becomes a very characteristic symptom, profound weakness at the mental level and physical level, and exertion aggravates. So because the exertion aggravates them, there is an aversion to exertion, lies down frequently to feel better. So they're continuously lying down after small intervals of work. And as soon as starts to walk, the fatigue returns again. So he's better when he's lying down. When he starts to walk about, the fatigue returns. So this aspect of weakness, you can compare it with manganum and stannum metallicum. But of course, the pathology in stannum metallicum is different compared to Calcarea silicata. But they have a lot of weakness, and weakness especially of the chest. And there is a paralytic weakness. They are not even able to stand in stannum metallicum. Okay, now let us see how the children are. So the children are malnourished and emaciated. So Calcarea silicata can come up as a useful remedy for disorders related to malnutrition, especially marasmus. So these days in an urban setup, you may not find diseases like marasmus or kwashiorkor unless you are operating in a slum area. There you may find a lot of cases. But in rural background, you may still be able to see cases of malnutrition, especially marasmus and kwashiorkor. So here, Calcarea silicata may be indicated. So do remember it as one of the remedies useful for malnutrition, especially marasmus. So constitutionally, the child would be malnourished and emaciated. Now this point, I have taken it from from Clark. So what he mentions here is that this preparation has been used by Usher. Usher is the name of a physician in 1x and 6x potencies in cases of atrophy of children. So he used to use Calcarea silicata in 1x, 6x potencies in atrophy of children. So do remember, it is an important remedy for atrophy, for malnutrition and marasmus. He has found it succeed where Cilicia has failed in these cases. So the cases where Cilicia failed to cure the children of atrophy, Calcarea silicata helped them. This is what Clark has written about Calcarea silicata. Apart from that, apart from the constitution, which is marasmic and emaciated, they are very chilly, tubercular, and sweat profusely. Okay, so we will see later on where they sweat and what is the characteristic of perspiration. And in child, you will also see a lot of involvement of glands, tonsillitis, lymphadenitis, etc. So you will see that a lot in Calcarea silicata children. Perspiration is a cold perspiration, especially on the palms and soles, where you can compare it with Cilicia. And also on the fingertips, there is a blue line on the gums. So remember that perspiration is a cold perspiration, especially palms and soles. It is indicated for suppurative conditions like abscesses, boils, sinusitis, bronchitis. The discharges are thick, greenish yellow, and offensive. So suppurative conditions where the discharges are thick, greenish yellow, and offensive. Now it has some typical kind of pains, but before we go on to the sensation of pain, it is important to remember that there is a lot of sensitiveness. There is a lot of sensitivity to pain and a lot of sensitivity to touch and jar. Okay, so there is an aversion to being touched, and jar means a sudden motion. So for example, when you're traveling in a car and suddenly there's a speed breaker that comes, that is a jar. So a sudden motion like that or touch, they're extremely sensitive to it, and they're extremely sensitive to pain. And the pains are generally cutting sort of pains, stitching sort of pains, as if a pin is pricking into the skin, tearing and burning. So these are the characteristic pains that are found in Calcarea silicata. They are worse from breakfast. In fact, in one of the books writes that they are worse from eating. After eating and after breakfast, they become very dull and they become very sluggish. So they are worse from breakfast. And they feel much better when they are on a low diet. Low diet means a very light diet, which doesn't have a lot of fat, a lot of rich food. So a very, very low diet and a very small quantity. And they're also better when they're fasting, but much aggravated after eating and after breakfast. They're sensitive to consumption of wine and alcohol. And one of the author mentions that there is swimming head, which means a typical, you can say a kind of dizziness. A kind of dizziness, swimming head is what is mentioned in the book after having wine and alcohol. They are aggravated by cold food, cold milk, and cold drinks. Okay, so this is about the food and drinks. Why I have written food and drinks? Because if you open synthesis repertory, you will find all these rubrics related to food in food and drinks section of generalities. Now let us have a look at thermal modalities. So they're chilly. They have a marked aversion to open air and very sensitive to draft of air. Aversion to bathing, especially cold bathing, and change of weather from warm to cold weather and cold wet weather. Right now with that many of you will be experiencing since the monsoons have begun. So the weather will become cold and wet after some time. They're very sensitive to that kind of weather. Also because they have a hydrogenoid constitution. So they're sensitive to humidity and wet weather. And very sensitive to becoming cold from drafts of air or from cold weather, from cold air, cold bathing. So don't forget this about Calcarea silicata. Very chilly and sensitive to becoming cold. This is a causative modality that has been mentioned. Ailments from suppressed perspiration. This is also an important peculiarity of Calcarea silicata, that when the perspiration is suppressed, they may develop various kind of complaints. Okay, especially in the complaints related to, you can say, musculoskeletal system, like the bones and joints. They can develop those sort of complaints from a suppressed perspiration. So basically they sweat a lot. They sweat profusely. And like we saw, sweat mostly on the palms and soles and the fingertips. And the sweat is very cold. Now what happens is that when the perspiration ceases, for example, you're sweating and then you're suddenly exposed to cold draft of air, the perspiration gets suppressed here, and that is when they start having troubles. They become extremely lame and weak, and they develop complaints related to the joints and muscles like soreness of the body or lameness of the body. So they can develop those sort of complaints. So do remember this causative modality, because when we study any complaints, we give the most, we give in modalities, we give the utmost importance to causative modality. So don't forget that ailments from are very important, and here ailments from a suppressed perspiration. I hope you all have understood suppressed perspiration. Even you would have experienced it. When you're sweating a lot, suppose you've come from outside and you're sweating a lot, you enter into an AC environment and suddenly the sweat disappears. So that is the causative factor of Calcarea silicata. That is when he suffers from his complaints. Now, what are the general modalities? We already saw exertion. Do not forget exertion. Very, very important, mental and physical exertion. Motion, jar. Also, they have a lot of symptoms coming on before and during menstruation. Just like Calcarea carp, we know that the symptoms are aggravated before menstruation, and it has a lot of concomitants related to menstruation. So also in Calcarea silicata, the symptoms may be aggravated before and during menstruation. And they are very much better by lying down and rest, that we saw earlier. As soon as he gets up from rest, Again, he starts feeling exhausted and the complaints return. Before we go to the particulars, one or two important points again I would like to mention here, that there are also hemorrhages from various outlets. We know that even in Calcarea carbonica, there are a lot of hemorrhages from different outlets. So also in Calcarea silicata, there are hemorrhages from different outlets of the body. So that is also an important physical general here in Calcarea silicata. Now, the chief action mainly you will find upon the skin, mucous membranes, bones and joints, and glands. So do remember this about Calcarea silicata: skin, mucous membranes, bones and joints, and glands. Okay. So let us go on to skin first. It is a very good remedy and an important remedy for acne. We will see the different symptoms related to acne in the further slides, and also an important remedy for abscesses, boils and pustules. You can see on the right hand side, this is an abscess. Okay. So the skin is basically very sensitive. We saw that earlier, that the skin is very sensitive. Overall, their constitution is very sensitive to pain, to draft, to touch, to jar. So skin is very sensitive, and there is formation of abscesses, ulcers. Ulcers are characteristically punched out ulcers, which are, you know, when you see it, it looks punched out, like how you use a punch on a paper, the punching machine when you use on the paper, how it appears. So like that, punched out ulcers. Besides that, there are boils, pustules, and the discharges from these abscesses and ulcers are very, very thick, greenish yellow pus. Okay, and also very offensive. It is also used for hard warts, though not many indications are given, but it is just mentioned. It is a useful remedy for hard warts. Okay, so then let us go on to scalp, eruptions, crusts, eczema, and pustules. So everywhere you will find these abscesses, pustules, boils, everywhere on the skin you will find this. Okay. Face, we already saw acne. So pimples, acne rosacea. The acne are painful, pustular, and also comedones may be there. So don't forget, it's a very useful remedy for pimples, acne, abscesses, boils, and ulcers. This is extremely important. If you don't remember anything much about the particulars of Calcarea silicata, at least remember this. Next, we will see the respiratory system. So it is an important remedy for various catarrhal conditions of respiratory system: bronchitis, sinusitis. Okay, so very, very chronic sinusitis, chronic bronchitis. You will see inflammation of sinuses, headaches related to the sinusitis headaches, which you typically see in the areas of sinuses. And you will see postnasal discharge, which is thick greenish yellow. So we had already studied in the generalities, thick greenish yellow discharges. So whenever a particular symptom is, the character of a symptom is present at 2 or 3 different locations, you can generalize this. I'm sure all of you know about this. Okay, grand generalization part. What is true for a part is true for whole. So here you will find at various locations thick greenish yellow discharges. So this becomes a generality, a characteristic generality of Calcarea silicata. Okay, so the sinusitis is aggravated in cold weather, cold draft, cold wet weather. So now you will see in monsoon, maybe you will find a case of Calcarea silicata, maybe. Okay, apart from Along with these complaints of sinusitis and bronchitis, you will see a lot of weakness, emaciation, sensitiveness, and peevishness. Sensitiveness, say for example, there is headache related to sinusitis. He will not want to be touched. They will not want to, travel uh, by cars or something where there is a lot of jerking and jarring, and they will not want to move much because that will aggravate the pain. So that kind of sensitiveness is there in Calcarea silicata. In chest, you will see the air passages are affected, the bronchioles. There is an inflammation leading to bronchitis, a very chronic cough, a chronic inflammation from irritation of air passages. And as you know, the discharge is thick, greenish yellow expectoration. Again, this is aggravated from cold, wet weather and cold draft. There is shortness of breath, especially from ascending the stairs. I hope you all are able to understand so far what I'm telling you all. If you remember, basically in this remedy, if you remember the generalities properly of Calcarea silicata, you can also apply it to the various particulars. So just remember the generalities and just remember the sphere of action, and you can apply those generalities to the particulars also. It's very, very simple and easy to remember here. Certain other clinical conditions that have been mentioned in Calcarea silicata. Severe constipation. We know Calcarea carb is a wonderful remedy for constipation, and so is Silicea. So Calcarea silicata also has severe constipation. Arthritic conditions and gout. So I haven't mentioned this in detail in the particular, but I'll just in short tell you about the arthritic conditions. So it has a lot of affection of musculoskeletal system, as I already told you, upon the bones, upon the joints, the tendons and muscles. What happens is that there is an easy straining and spraining of tendons, and there is a lot of weakness, a soreness of the whole body, soreness of muscles, and arthritis, arthritic conditions, inflammation of various joints, especially from cold, wet weather, from draft of air, and also gout. Okay, apart from that, there is stiffness of back and a lameness of back, again from cold weather and cold, wet weather. Okay, so as I told you, you can apply the generalities to the particulars, but also remember it's an important remedy for joint complaints, bone complaints, and muscle complaints. Okay, so now let us see what Kent has written about Calcarea silicata. So what he writes here is that it has cured cases of epithelioma and lupus and is reputed to stimulate the absorption of corneal exudate. So this is what Kent has written about Calcarea silicata: epithelioma, lupus, and absorption of corneal exudate. Apart from that, yesterday we saw these how these particular illnesses develop in Calcarea silicata. We saw that yesterday when we were studying about the mental aspects of Calcarea silicata. So a good remedy for anxiety neurosis. We saw how they're anxious about their health, fear of diseases, depression. We saw the sadness, the non-communication of Calcarea silicata, psychosis, the different delusions we saw, delusions talking to dead people, especially their relatives whom they considered as their support. When they lose them, they may develop an illness like this. And Alzheimer's disease. We saw how the intellect gets disorganized and they develop Alzheimer's disease. Miasm is mainly tubercular miasm, but yesterday we saw a lot of psychotic aspects are there in Calcarea silicata as well. So these are certain remedy relations, the remedies with which you can compare Calcarea silicata. I have not made a detailed table of the differentiation because then we don't have a lot of time and we also have to take up a case. But basically you can compare it with arsenic album. How you can compare it, I will just tell you quickly and in short. So basically, you know that Calcarea silicata are very, very weak individuals, weak mentally, weak physically. So also arsenic album is extremely weak, especially from the loss of vital fluids. But arsenic album has more of a weakness on a physical level, but mentally they are extremely restless. Okay, Calcarea silicata has more of a mental dullness along with the physical weakness. But one similarity here is at night they become anxious and have anxiety of death, anxiety of health, just like arsenic album, and a fear of incurable diseases that develops at night, whereas daytime they are dull. But arsenic album, they are more restless and anxious mentally and physically weak. So this is how you can compare it with arsenic album. But of course, there's a lot of difference as well. China also, the characteristic weakness that it has from loss of vital fluids. Tandem metallicum and manganum, I told you earlier. Again, you can compare it with the weakness. And tuberculinum, the other features that it has, like I already told you about the malnourishment, the marasmus aspects, the involvement of the glands, etc. So that is how you can compare it with tuberculinum. But of course, there are a lot of differences, and I cannot take up the differences in details here because of the shortage of time. Mind, yesterday we saw one aspect of Calcarea silicata where they become extremely non-communicative. They don't want to be disturbed. They don't want to be spoken to. They just want to remain alone. So here you can compare natrum mur, but the difference is that natrum murs have more of grief. They have more of grief. They are more reserved. Hence, they do not want to talk to anyone. They don't want to communicate. They just want to keep things to themselves and do not open up. Whereas in Calcarea silicata, it's more of a weakness and dullness. That's why they don't want to talk to anyone and don't want to communicate. And both are aggravated by consolation that we saw yesterday, that Calcarea silicata becomes irritable on consolation. And of course, you have to compare it with Cilicia and Calcarea carp because a lot of features are similar with Calcarea carp and Cilicia. So this was the end of presentation essentially. These are the references from which I've made this presentation. Materia Medica of Dr. Kent, Boric, J.H. Clark, Homeopathy and Elements by Jan Scholten, and Soul of Remedies by Sankaran. For repertorization, I have used Essential Synthesis, Frederick Schroens, and certain aspects of the chemical properties I've taken from Wikipedia. Now, before we go on to the case, I would just like to tell you that, especially for the students and also interns and the new practitioners, that how repertorization and studying of the rubrics for a remedy is very important part of Materia Medica. Because, so what, I will tell you how I have made the presentation, how I've considered the rubrics in the presentation. So while studying this particular remedy, after studying the symptoms of Materia Medica, when I looked into the repertory, I have essentially taken the rubrics, which were either single remedy rubrics. I'll just tell you what all rubrics are important to study a particular remedy and how you can study Materia Medica through repertorization and through study of repertory. So in any particular, when you study Materia Medica of any particular remedy, you can basically consider three important kind of rubrics there from the repertory. One is the single remedy rubrics, where only that particular remedy is present in the rubric, okay, and no other remedies are present. So it becomes extremely important. It becomes like a peculiarity or a very important characteristic of that particular remedy. So single remedy rubrics, okay, always remember that. Second is where there are few remedies present in a rubric and your remedy is one of those remedies. even if it is 1 mark remedy, but say for example, in any particular rubric, only 3 remedies are present. And though your remedy is only 1 mark remedy, but since this rubric has only a few remedies, your remedy becomes an important remedy for this particular rubric. And the third important thing is the gradation, the marks. If your remedy is present in a particular rubric in 4 marks or 3 marks, it becomes extremely important. So whenever you are making a presentation of any remedy of Materia Medica, or whenever you're studying Materia Medica through repertory, always remember to consider these 3 kind of rubrics for that particular remedy. Single remedy, rubric with few remedies, and rubrics where your remedy is 3 marks or 4 marks. So by approaching a remedy through repertorization, through repertory, what we understand the authenticity. We can go on reading Materia Medica pages after pages, but we should also know how it is represented in our repertory. So we have an idea that, okay, these are the symptoms which are extremely important and have to be considered for this particular remedy versus all the symptoms that are present in Materia Medica. So now you will know that these kind of rubrics, these 3 kind of rubrics that I told you will be very, very important symptoms that you will study in the Materia Medica of the remedy, and the rest of it you can just quickly go through. But these you have to pay a lot of attention to. So always remember that this is how you can study, and it is not at all very difficult. Even the students who will be making their future presentations, they can use this aspect to make their presentations. It is not at all difficult. It is very, very simple, and you can take the help of your seniors. So basically, you can refer to the book form of repertory. If you have softwares like Radar or HomePad, then it becomes extremely easy, extremely simple. You can just search and you will get all the rubrics. Or what you can do is, nowadays, certain repertories are available on your mobiles also. And in the group, I will share the link of Synthesis repertory. So you can easily find the rubrics on your phone also. So do use this particular way of studying Materia Medica through repertory in your future presentations and future studies. So this is what I wanted you all to explain about it. So this is about my presentation. If anyone has any difficulties related to this, you can ask me now, because next we will be going on to the case. And I would also like to ask you all if you all have been able to understand it so far. Dr. Arun, are there any questions so far? Hello?
Hello.
Hello, Dr. Arun,
There
any
is
questions?
No question in the chat box.
Okay, no problem. So I hope you all were able to understand. So then we can proceed to the case. If any one of you all can tell me if I was audible and I was clear, and if you all were able to understand, can anyone tell me, any of the doctors, any of the students, any participant here? Can I just ask
any query, question?
Yeah. Can I ask any one participant to please tell me? Dr. Ibtisam, are you there, Dr. Ibtisam? If you can just tell me in the chat box or just unmute, or anyone can tell me if I'm clear. Something has come in the chat. Okay. Okay, so I think you all were able to understand at least something about Calcarea silicata. I just hope that you will not miss it out in future, because of course it is a little difficult remedy to approach in cases, but if you understand it this way, and if you understand it through repertory, then I'm sure you will not be able to miss it out. So now we will go on to the case. We have some time left.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
There is one message in the chat box.
Yeah, I saw that.
Voice is clear and audible.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so
So
much. Yeah.
just I want to say that the last point you share about the process of conversion of repertory to Mathematica. This is very important tool, I think, to study the Mathematica.
Yes.
And most of the student who are presenting in the past and also they are going to present in future, they are taking the help of Mathematica and giving the presentation. But I think there is a need of addition of repertory in the presentation. It's very important. So you can study one remedy from two angles, from Mathematica point of view and the repertorial representation of that remedy. So this is the one process I saw in your presentation, Dr. Aditi. So I think this is the helpful way for student to study further.
Yes.
And you just put the link of that free mobile app repertory software
Yes.
in the group so that they can also download and use that repertory.
Yes. Yes. You can use that.
Okay, you can proceed to case.
You can use that to see the rubrics. It may not help so much for repertorization, but definitely for the understanding of rubrics, it is very, very helpful. If at all you don't have a software and if you easily want to refer to the rubrics, you can use that. I will post the link in the group. Okay, so now we will start with the case. I will quickly tell you about the case because only 15-20 minutes are left. Okay, so this case is a case of restless sleep and I've taken it from H. Pathy, 23rd July 2015 journal. H. Pathy is an online journal. It is a very good journal. You will find a lot of information there. And it's a free journal, okay? So you all can, use this particular journal. It has some good articles in it. And the case is by Stavrula. The name of the homeopathic physician is Stavrula. So let us just quickly go on to the case. So a 45 years male patient, the chief complaints are, like I told you, restless sleep. So the sleep complaints are since 20 years and the sleep is very restless and unrefreshing. So when he gets up in the morning, he feels very dull and doesn't have the energy to do the work throughout the day. What he says about his sleep is that he tosses and turns all night, which means he's extremely restless. He tosses and turns all night. The sleep gets disturbed by slightest noise. And the dreams are very, very confused kind of dreams. Later on, when we go into the case, we will see what are the dreams that he gets. But confused sort of dreams. And the sleep is very restless and unrefreshed. Now, because of all this, because of this restless sleep and disturbed sleep, what happens is he develops a fatigue from loss of sleep. So there's a fatigue of mind. Now, he also has this grinding of teeth, and I think I've forgotten to write here, but it is during sleep. So there is grinding of teeth during sleep since 20 years. Okay. And another complaint that he has is that of shoulder, the left shoulder pain since 1 year. He used some chiropractic therapy, but it did not help him. There are no characteristics of pain or any modalities as such. So these are the three complaints: the chief complaint of restless sleep, unrefreshing sleep, and grinding of teeth, left shoulder pain as associated complaint. Now he desires meat. He likes spices and would like to put pepper everywhere, but he doesn't because he thinks it is not wise. So remember this particular point in this case, because when we go into the analysis, it will become an important point. So he likes spices, but he avoids it. He doesn't take it because he feels that it will bring about problems, and so he doesn't use it. Likes vinegar, but doesn't have it, as he says, it's a preservative. So you can see he has some fixed ideas in his mind. about certain articles of food. So he doesn't use them even though he likes them. There is a thirst for cold water even in winter. And the thermals can tolerate both cold and heat equally well, but he feels cold when he's tired. There is a cold perspiration on the body. When perspires, the sweat makes him feel very cold. So a cold perspiration. And even in summer, if he doesn't have a bath after he perspires, he feels cold. Okay, so the perspiration is cold and he feels cold when he's tired. Now mind, so he's a lonely person, he says. Friends can betray you. This is what his statement is. Friends can betray you. Their worries are superficial. You cannot have a serious conversation with anyone. So he knows that the friends will betray you. They are just worried very superficially about you. They will just ask you, okay, how are you, this and that. But no one is actually worried about your problems. So that's why he just avoids it. He prefers to be alone. Now work. So work takes most of his day. There are periods that he works 15 hours a day, 7 days a week. At such times, he doesn't even have time to eat. Normally, he works 10 hours a day. So work becomes an important part of his life. So whenever we receive a case, we will see that certain patients give importance to certain areas of their life. Okay, for example, Kalika will give importance to family. You know, some patients will give importance to their work. Like Nakswamika is totally work, totally his ambition. So always remember, whenever you analyze the case, these particular aspects also become very important. Like on what areas the patient is focusing on. What are the important areas of his life? The work here is an important area of his life. Then let us see about childhood. Anxious even as a child, felt pressure at home because he had to help his parents on the farm and go to school also. So they were not from a very well-to-do family. So he had to work in the farm because his parents would ask him to, and he had to go to school also. Now at school, the teacher was very strict and she would even beat the children. Okay, so you can see the pressure at home by parents, the pressure at school by teacher. Wanted to study for school, but didn't have time as he worked on the farm and other places since he was 10 years old. So as you can see, he had to work a lot at the farm and other places to make a livelihood and to support his family. And there was a lot of pressure on him. Now, behavior with peer, this is the part of his childhood. He tells us how was his behavior with other children during childhood. So he did not want to play with the other children because they did not obey the rules of the games. So he preferred to play alone. He didn't get along well with his sister because she also didn't obey the rules and did whatever she wanted to do. He said that you have to obey the rules you set. Otherwise, you betray yourself. So he is a person who has set certain rules, certain standards for himself. If he is not able to follow, he feels he will betray himself. And if others do not follow those rules, he tries to avoid them. He tries to avoid those people who do not follow the rule. He had the feeling as a child that he should learn as many things as he could in order to survive. He was anxious about growing up, finding a job, making a career, and having a family. All these seemed overwhelming to him. So these particular anxieties about finding a job, making a career, having a family, supporting the family, the responsibility of family, all these were overwhelming to him. Overwhelming means it used to affect him. These anxieties used to affect him. They used to weigh him down. Now, let us see how is his basic personality, his nature and behavior. So, a very neat and clean person. He likes order. Does not want to lose self-control. This is very important. He doesn't want to lose self-control. We saw earlier also he goes by rules. He doesn't want to go out of control. Tries to control some of his feelings, such as his anger or his desires. So he will try to suppress his anger and desires. He will try to keep it to himself. So you can say self-control, and also to certain extent you can say probably timidity. Okay, now family oriented, another important area of his life, family. So he's family oriented. Says that he could not work and go to the bars every night. Just see how he's describing it. He says he's family oriented, but his desires are to not do work, to go to the bars. But he says, I don't do that. I avoid that because he has a family to take care. So he chooses not to do this kind of things. So he chooses not to delve in such leisures of going to the bars or spending or luxury, because he has a family to take care. Though he has desires to do it, but he will not do it. So he suppresses his desires and exercises a self-control on himself because he has responsibility of the family on him. Anxiety about his family. Anxious whether he will be able to make ends meet for his family, as in, will he be able to give financial security to his family? Whether he will be able to make it in his work, as there are people above him in the company who check him. So again, anxiety related to the work, if he will be able to hold this particular position that he has, because there are people above him who constantly check his work. So what if he goes wrong? What if he makes any mistakes? Will he still be able to continue? Will they keep him or not? Those kind of anxieties are there in him. All this responsibility towards his family and his work causes him too much stress. So remember, two important areas have come up in his life: family and work. Not very fond of dogs and feels awkward when he sees them in the street. Anxious about the future, about whether he's going to make it or not. Now, an important event that came up in his life, when the physician asked him, what was the worst thing that happened in your life? What the patient says, I've forgotten to write uncle here. So my uncle was a chemist. His uncle was a chemist. As a child, I had a plan that I would study chemistry and take over my uncle's chemistry laboratory. I wanted to become a chemist to prove to my uncle that I could make it. Just see the words he is using. I became a chemist, but my uncle didn't hand the laboratory over to him. So it's important to see also what kind of phrases, what kind of sentences and expressions a patient is using. So he says, wanted to prove myself to the uncle, wanted to take over the laboratory, but the uncle did not give me the laboratory. So this was an important event in his life. Now, what are the dreams? Whether he will be able to make a family. He has this dream, though he already has a family. He is working in a company, he's providing his family, he is doing all that he can do. Still, he has this dream, whether he will be able to make a family, whether he is going to pass the last 5 exams in the university so as to get his degree. So, and you can say dreams of failing in exams. So, all the anxieties and fears that a person has are reflected on his dreams that you can see here. Okay, so now the physical appearance: short, abdominal fat, round head and baldness, light complexion. The tone of voice was quite low. Now we will quickly go on to see the assessment of the case. So these are the particular symptoms or the aspects of the case that were considered important by the doctor, by the physician here. So the first thing was the fixed ideas. We studied that even in the food and drink section, where we saw that he wants to have spicy and vinegar, but he does not have it. He refrains from it because he feels that they will affect his health. So he has those kind of fixed ideas, and fixed ideas about his role, the ideas that he had about rules, that certain rules should be followed, otherwise you betray yourself. So that is one important aspect, fixed ideas. Self-control, I already told you, he exercises a control on his desires, a control on his anger. So control his desires for the sake uh, of reason and what must be done. So basically he controls his desires because he knows, and the anger, because he knows that he has to provide for his family, which we already studied earlier. He has to provide for the family, so he will control all his desires and also his anger. And lack of self-confidence, why we repeatedly saw he uses these phrases, whether I will be able to, if I make it, he says in his company, if I'll be able to make it in my company, because there are people checking on my work, whether I will be able to provide for my family or not. So these are the phrases that he is using, which essentially indicates that he has a lack of self-confidence. So fixed ideas, self-control, and lack of self-confidence. Important areas for him, which we already saw. He spoke about work, money, about financial security, if he will be able to provide to the family or not, family, his family responsibility, his family role, the responsibilities in the company and family, and capability, whether I will be able to do or not. So where he is doubting his capability. So these are the important areas. Now, there was one peculiar physical symptom, cold after perspiration, even during summer. Okay, this was a peculiar symptom here that the physician considered. Now, let us see what are the rubrics that were considered. The repertorial sheet was not given here. So I have just taken up the rubrics, what the physician had given. So the rubrics that were considered important were mind, fear, poverty of. If you were concentrating on the case, you will understand how the fear of poverty has come up here in the rubrics. So mind, fear of poverty, mind, fear of dogs, intellect. So, when you analyze the symptoms of mind, you always go by emotion, intellect, behavior, right? Will, emotion, intellect, and behavior. It is very, very important. So you can give, so that will help you in the hierarchy of arrangement of your rubrics. Okay. So emotion, fears, and intellect, here we have thoughts, persistent, and mind, confidence, want of self-confidence. Generals, he desires meat. Cold, becoming, perspiration during. So when he perspires, he becomes cold, he feels cold, even during summers. Teeth grinding during sleep. So these were mainly the important symptoms which were considered here. The differential remedies which were coming up, Calcarea carbonica, carcinosin, and Silicea. Now let us study what comments the doctor has written, how she went about this case and how she came up to the final remedy. So what she writes is, taking into consideration the external appearance of the patient that we saw. He was short, abdominal fat, baldness, light complexion, together with his concern about his job, whether he will be able to make it in his company, his family, whether he'll be able to give them financial security, his financial condition, his doubts about his ability to achieve security in all fields. I thought more about Calcarea carbonica. So she thinks about Calcarea carbonica. Then let's see further what happens. But I couldn't, however, leave the story about his uncle out of my analysis. Patient came from a poor family. He had to work from quite early to help the family survive. And there was also a great amount of expectation put upon him. So we had already studied pressure of the family so that he can support the family financially. There was a lot of expectation put upon him, so he couldn't pursue his desires and wills. He had to put a control on them. And there were expectations from him to go to the university, become a chemist, take over uncle's business, so as to provide a financial base and security for the whole family. So, this looks similar to what? It looks similar to Calcarea silicata we had yesterday studied. The theme of Calcarea silicata, the evolution of Calcarea silicata, how there are expectations of the families especially the financial expectations, and how he has this pressure of living up to the expectations. So this part emerges here. So basically, she referred to these two books, and she saw that this particular situation of the patient exactly matches with the concept of Calcarea silicata given in Homeopathy and Elements by Jan Scholten and The Soul of Remedies by Rajan Shankaran. Now, the confirmation she does is by looking at the physical general, the peculiarity of physical symptom, that was general cold becoming perspiration during. So sometimes when you have the whole case and you have to finally, you know, come to confirming the remedy, you can sometimes use the PQRS symptoms, the very, very peculiar symptoms, in order to differentiate it from the other remedies and in order to confirm the remedy. So this is how she finally confirmed the remedy. First, she took the rubrics, then she saw that the theme that was emerging in the life situation of patient was very much similar to Calcarea silicata. And then she also saw that the peculiar symptom that was coming up in the case was being included by Calcarea silicata. So finally, she selected Calcarea silicata 200, gave a single dose. Now, we will quickly see the follow-ups because it's already 4 o'clock. So the follow-up after 4 weeks says that he feels much stronger, sleeps much better, wakes up in the morning more energized and in a better mood. So you can say it was a similimum. Pain in the left shoulder, absent. This pain, he says, went gradually. It moved from the shoulder to the elbow and then vanished completely. You can see Hering's law of cure operating here, okay, from above downwards. Lost 6 kilos. Sexual desire also increased. Treatment, he was given SL for a month. He comes back for the second follow-up. He says, feels a bit tired because he has been working 15 hours a day for the last month, but not as tired as he used to feel in the past. He started feeling cold again and has gained 3 kgs of weight. So remember that sometimes what may happen is that your remedy may be right. You may have given a similimum, but certain situations come up in the life of the patient which may either act as a maintaining cause or which may aggravate his symptoms. So don't get dejected. Don't think that your remedy was absolutely wrong. Again, analyze the case. So you ask him more about his other complaints. So here he says that he is tired, but he's not tired as he was in the past. And he was tired because he was working for 15 hours a day. So there was a particular triggering factor after which this tiredness came up again, but the intensity was not so severe. So it is a good indication that you can still repeat your initial remedy. Okay, so what happens here is she again gives Calcarea silicata 200, a single dose again. Now what you see in the follow-up after 1.5 months, feels quite strong, sleeps well, energy has increased, appetite is back to normal. So you can see that your remedy was correct and the patient has again felt better. So this is a confirmation that your remedy it acted like a similimum, the most suitable remedy to the patient's case. So that is all about the case. Thank you very much. If you have any queries, you can mail me. You can put your question in the group, in the WhatsApp group. I will try to answer those questions. I hope I was able to give you some understanding of Calcarea silicata. And I would like to thank all of you, all the doctors, all the students, all the practitioners for listening to me patiently and for all your help and guidance. And very, very thankful to Dr. Arun, who always guides me through all my presentations. So thank you very much. This is the end of my presentation. I'll stop the screen sharing now. So, Doctor.
Hello.
Yeah.
We will take a 5-minute question and answer session.
Okay.
And is there any practitioner in this group? They can also add their experience about
yes, please. That is very important.
or any peculiar part of this remedy.
Yes, that is very important. Please, if there's anyone who want to add something,
Please raise hand or type
yes,
text in the chat box so I can unmute them.
yes, please feel free to express your opinion and
Anyone
view.
from group?